What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Gentlemen and ladies, we got another crazy show for you guys today. Joe can't quit his job like a coward. In my mind, I wonder often, what are young people doing in America today? This documentary that I'm going to show you the trailer of is the absolute craziest thing I ever heard. Literally justifying men flashing people in the drive-thru, if you know what I mean. I want to address a couple of the rumors about Erica Kirk. I feel like I have to say something about this. And before we get to all of that, I want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. And listen to Mamdani say the stupidest thing in the world about St. Patrick. Welcome to the Officer Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. I want to give a big shout out to all the members. I told you guys we're going to create the best membership program on YouTube. Just a quick rundown. You can become a rookie, officer, SWAT, deputy chief. There's perks to all levels. You can research those. Just go into the join button. But I want to give y'all a quick preview on what the members were able to see, or the conversation that I had with Scott Jennings. He came here to the headquarters and we went to dinner and did a couple other cool things that we're going to show you guys later. But here's just a bit of that conversation for members only.
I think the best role that I can play is just to ask very simple questions. What kind of commentator would you rather watch? A thinking, debating commentator, or somebody who's just reading whatever somebody handed them? The idea that you would come to the air and, like, with a straight face say, Pete Hegseth ate $7 million worth of lobster and not expect someone like me, you know, to shift into beast mode?
Are there people that you are peers of yours on CNN that are very different on air than off air?
On the left, I think it's very authoritarian. You get out of line,
Over. Your
they
career could
beat
be
you
over.
down. Nobody had the guts to say, wait a minute,
Yeah.
we sound crazy, we sound stupid.
Yeah.
They just had to keep doing it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's just a quick preview of the membership program that we have. I mean, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been a member for so long. And we're finally going to try to do a lot more for you. Your dedication and support to the channel is paramount. And I don't think that there's a pit against people who are subscribers and people who are members. Listen, I want to be able to offer those of you who've been watching me for so long just a little bit more. That's it. It's really that simple. And if you don't have the money and you don't want to support in that way, continue to watch all the free content that I do on a day-to-day basis that I will always continue to do on every platform known to man. 2-point-something billion views worth of free content. But there are those who want to hear more, who want to do more, and who's willing to support more. And I really appreciate you, and I appreciate those who are not members as well. I love y'all too. All right? So let's get into this real quick, because we got Mamdani, who's a stewhead, and I cannot stand him. And of course, this fool on St. Patty's Day gave a speech and left out the whole purpose for St. Patty. I want you guys to understand this. It's intentional. This is not it's not accidental. It's not an oversight. It's that this Muslim nut job literally despises Christianity, and therefore he won't even mention the Christian side. And this is not unless I'm missing something. If I missed it in the speech, y'all correct me, I will apologize. But what I see from the speech that's been going around and what I see right now from the minute or so that we have, I don't think he mentioned whatsoever that St. Patrick was a saint, and he's known for bringing Christianity to Ireland. That's the reason why he's called saint. That's the reason why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. That is the 100% reason. I mean, you're not 100%, but that's the primary reason. And then there's a secondary and tertiary reason, and some of those have to do with the Irish heritage and stuff like that. But the primary reason that St. Patty is a saint is because of his Christian involvement. But let's listen to Mamdani, who probably ain't gonna make heaven. Let's listen to what he had to say. Roll it.
I say this as over the past few years, as we've witnessed a genocide unfold before our eyes, there has been deafening silence from so many. For those who have long cared about universal human rights and the extension of them to Palestinians, silence, however, is nothing new, for Palestinians are so often left to weep alone. Yet former President Robinson has never been silent. Not when she was president, not when she was High Commissioner for Human Rights, and not in the decades since. As she once said, commemoration is a moral act. Her solidarity is many things: unwavering, sincere, and chief among them, Irish. Irish solidarity is no coincidence. Who can better understand those who weep than those who have been made to weep for so long? The story of the Irish, both in Ireland and in New York City, is at one time a story of oppression, of subjugation, and of discrimination. As we know, it was on Irish soil that the British Empire developed their colonial project.
Shut him
so
up.
Much of the
I'm done. I can't listen to this guy. I'm having a good day, and he about to ruin it with that stupidity. Listen, man. Only reason I'm saying these things is I want to draw to your attention the stupidity that people are spewing. This guy is not a good person, or at least he's not acting like a good person. Don't get tricked by these snake oil salesmen. Palestinians oppression. You should give me a break, bro. Yeah, there are some Palestinians that are oppressed, just like there's black, white, gay, straight, ugly, fat, you name it. There, people are experiencing oppression. Palestinians are not uniquely oppressed in the way that he tries to exemplify, because he's trying to say that Israel oppressed Palestinians when I went to Israel and Palestinians aren't oppressed in Israel. So I don't know what these people be talking about. It boggles my mind, because we could be centralized, going in one direction as a country, but yet people have to create division, pushing their own interests instead of pushing the interests of the United States of America. Everybody want to be broke up into some category. I'm a Jew. I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim. I'm a Listen, nobody really care what you doing on your off time. We should be able to use our differences collectively to pursue one mission in America. Now, when you on your own turf, you at your own church, you worshiping with your family, that's different. But when you're a political leader for the masses, why can't we get along with each other and preach a unified message that can endure beyond everybody's proclaimed differences? I really do believe that America would be a better place if we stop breaking ourselves up off into these groups. Anyway, I'm going to get in trouble. Let's get to the next topic. I want to talk about Erica Kirk real quick. And I'm just going to get right into this. We'll catch Synergy and we'll catch the verdict at another time. I just want to say this very clearly. As I peruse the internet, I am so disgusted by the things that I'm hearing about Erica Kirk. It is so shameful to me that people will fix their mouth, posture, their social media platform to make this woman look bad after her husband dies. It is shameful. Because when Charlie was alive, I didn't see nobody talk about Erica. I didn't hear nobody questioning everything she did or did not do. I didn't hear anybody push a conspiracy about Erica Kirk when Charlie was alive. You betrayed Charlie Kirk. For anybody that claimed, and if you didn't like him, that's different. But if you claim to support him, you claim to like him, you claim to be a friend of his, it is betrayal to go after his wife after his death with nonsensical, unverified rumors. And I have the authority to talk on this because I know Erica and Charlie, and I was at their wedding. Now, I wasn't with them every single day. They were my closest friends, but I've talked to Erica. I talked to Erica recently. To say that Erica is somehow some deceitful, manipulative, that's so far from the truth. It would be comical if it didn't have consequences. You can get mad at Turning Point. You can criticize Turning Point. They're a 501c3 organization. You can criticize how they use their money if that's what you decide to do. But to go after a widow of a man of God is shameful. It is shameful. You got to forget, God told Charlie to marry Erica. That's Charlie's words. God put Erica in Charlie's life. Charlie wasn't a dummy. I just need to get this off my chest. Charlie wasn't stupid. And for everybody that's acting like Erica is such a bad person, you make Charlie look bad. You make him look like a docile, stupid, emasculated, a man that only operates and can be bought and paid for. Do you not understand that's what you're doing? According to all the things that people are saying about Charlie in his death or trying to project on Erica, you're saying that about Charlie. You saying that he wasn't close to God. You are essentially saying that Charlie did not hear from God. And you're saying that Charlie did not have discernment. You're saying that although Charlie believed in God, reading his Bible, was a good Christian man, had a Christian revival going after his death, that he really didn't even know God. That's what you're essentially saying, because I believe that Charlie knew God. That's why Charlie was attracted to Erica, and that's why he decided to marry her. And they had a great family, great success. Things were going in the right direction while he was alive, and none of y'all had nothing to say about it. And then when the man dies, you crap on his grave. That's what I see on the internet, and it's shameful. Have some respect for Charlie Kirk at least. His wife has done nothing wrong to anybody. She's done nothing wrong. She said nothing wrong. She's a mother freaking human. She's not going to always say the right words. She wasn't a speaker like Charlie. She's doing the best she can do. And I despise people making fun of or criticizing every little thing she does. Put yourself in her shoes. You publicly lose the man of your dreams. And you got kids. That when she get home, not like your cowardice self, when she get home, she got to answer her kids why daddy not come home. That in and of itself will take people out completely. And you think that don't exist? You got to think Charlie's stuff's still at the house. I bet his shoes are still there. I bet his clothes are still there. I bet pictures are still there. Necklace, all this stuff that Charlie had is still a reminder to his wife who he was and who she lost. You didn't even know him. You never even talked to him. And yet you fix your mouth and your platform to bash Erica Kirk. You try running a nonprofit organization. Can't even run your own household. You can't even get a promotion in your job because you trash. But you talking about something she doing. I can't stand it, man. It just bothers me. It bothers me how stupid the world is. And I know this is supposed to be my show, and I'm gonna get to the point in a minute, but like it's so stupid. There's days where I'm like, why am I even doing this? What can I go do? I'm very talented. Why can I go do something else with my life? Why do I gotta be in the middle of stupidity? But I know why I do it, because I do it for my family, I do it for America, and I do it for you. But there are days where I look at it and I say, what am I doing, man? I could be doing something way more productive in my life than argue with stupid, ignorant folk that are evil and devils on both sides. We got people on our side that's a complete devils. In the name of God, being a devil. Just completely stupid. Everything is Israel's fault. Everything. Just wasted energy, wasted breath. And then claim to be a Christian. Can't even quote a scripture. I just had to get that out of my chest, y'all. I'll get back to the regular program in a minute, because I got to talk about Joe Kent, because I think what he did is nonsensical, in my opinion. I'm glad he's gone, but I think he's nonsensical. And I'm going to tell y'all a secret. Somebody leaked information to Candace from the government. And I wonder, was it Joe Kent? I wonder, is it Joe Kent that's leaking stuff to people? Not saying it is, but I wonder, is this the person that's leaking stuff? And I'm going to say this too. When a man dies, it is evil. It is unprofessional. It is shameful to leak that person's text messages to the public. I won't share it. I'm not retweeting it. I would never do that. And for people who are sharing it or retweeting that man's message after he's dead, you should be ashamed of yourself. It's shameful. The reason that people write things in a text message is because it's a personal conversation between one person and another person, or a person in a group text. If they wanted to be public, they would have made it public when they were alive. But because they don't want it to be public and it's a personal conversation, then that's why it should stay personal, because they don't have a choice. Can't believe it. I would never do people like that. I would never do that. I would never do my friends like that. There is nobody's text message I'll ever share after they die. I don't care what point it proves. I don't care if it make me right. I don't care if it makes my argument bolster. I would never share my friends, because you ain't my friend, you wouldn't be texting me anyway. But I'll never share my friends' text messages. I don't care if they told me a secret that will change the world. I'm not finna screenshot and share it with you. This is annoying to me. All right, let's get to the regular program. I'm gonna give a shout out to Verdict. Real quick before we get to Joe Kent, I'm gonna give a shout out to Verdict. If you're looking for a premium bourbon, the best in the country, in my opinion. We already in several restaurants. I want to show you guys a clip real quick before we go to Joe Kent. And this is just a quick clip of me at, remember I was telling you guys, we're already in restaurants. So we're at the Belmont, North Scottsdale. And this is me ordering the drink for the first time, the first night that it's on the menu. Roll the clip.
Sir, what would you like to drink tonight?
I would like to have the Verdict.
Oh, our new cocktail. That's going to be amazing.
All right,
awesome.
all right.
I'll bring it right out.
And just so y'all know, it's the second time because she forgot to have me order the first time.
How does that feel?
I ain't gonna lie, man. It does feel really good. I wish Jim was here to share with me, but to have your bourbon on a menu at a high-end restaurant like this, words can't describe. It's a good feeling. All right, so y'all had a chance to see that. Those of you, except the haters out there, just keep your comments to yourself. But everybody that love to see you succeed, shout out to Verdict getting on the menu at Belmont. We're on the menu at a few other places, but Belmont is one of my favorites right up the street from here. So, all right, let's get to Joe Kent. He wrote a statement. I didn't waste my time reading that entire statement. I'm just gonna say this real quick. I think Joe Kent is a coward. I think he's a coward, and he should be ashamed of himself. He should be honored for his service that he committed to this country, but he's a coward for what he did. And then it had nothing to do with Israel. I think what he said about us fighting a war for Israel is nonsensical, but people have a right to have a stupid opinion if they want to. But the fact that you think you a man, you think you doing something, you think it's honorable that you can say, I'm going to resign because I don't believe in this, but the men and women who serve can't resign. You think you doing something. You're not a leader. You're a coward. You are a coward. It ain't got nothing to do with Israel. I don't care what he said about Israel. Shit, I'm not Israeli. I don't live in Israel. I've been to Israel one time. I don't care. But when you're going against your own country and you grandstanding and acting like, I'm going to resign because I don't agree with the war. Well, a lot of people that died for this country didn't agree with wars that we were in. But they wasn't enough wussy to punk out in the middle of a war. If you're a real man, you will see it through. I hate wussies. You're a real man, you'll see it through. It ticks me out because I hate when dudes act like they, no, you ain't doing nothing. You let your country down. That's what you did. Because I bet you $1 million there's other people in the administration that may not agree with everything. But they're going to stand up and they're going to fight to the end. That means if I disagree with Donald Trump, I'm going to disagree with him in the position that I'm in to make, to make a difference or something. What a wuss. Just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't like what I'm going to quit. No, you stand in there and you look Donald Trump in the eye and say, this is wrong. Make him fire you. But instead, you punked out like a coward. And all the men and women who may also disagree with the war, they don't get the punk out. They got to stand over there in the barracks. They got to stand over there deployed, away from their family, and they got to fight for this country. Now I got that out the way. Let's play a couple clips. Y'all got me hot today. This is Donald Trump's statement about Kent's resignation. Roll the clip.
Your director of national counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you?
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there, loaded with cash, hundreds of millions of dollars? You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful, they sent hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think they had two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time. But they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people, because, and there are some people, I guess I would say that, but they're not smart people or they're not savvy people.
That's a little bit of what Trump had to say. Speaker Johnson, let me say this too. I'm gonna play Speaker Johnson here in a second. When I listen to Donald Trump, it makes sense what he's saying. It's logical. It's cohesive. It makes sense. Yeah, everybody knows that Iran is a threat. Donald Trump has said he was a threat in his first term. Ever since Donald Trump been on the scene, he said Iran is a threat. Every president since Barack Obama, including Barack Obama, says Iran is the threat. Kamala Harris said Iran is the biggest threat. I thought she was going to say China. She said Iran was the biggest threat. So you got every president and every administration for the last 20-some years say Iran is one of the biggest threats or the biggest threat. And then because Donald Trump have enough balls to do something about it, now he's a problem and he's acting for Israel. I don't understand. I don't understand people's obsession with Israel. I don't understand. Why everything got to be about Israel? Donald Trump clearly said that they were a threat for, 10 years now. The UAE, Saudi Arabia, all these other places saying that Iran is a threat. They got Hezbollah and all these other terrorist groups that they fund, that we all know they fund. They've killed Americans. What are we saying? Let's go to Speaker Johnson. Roll it.
Senator, he wrote that he cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. He writes, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nature. It's clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. How do you respond to that and to those other Republicans who say that this war is actually putting foreign interests above domestic interests?
Well, that proposition at the end is clearly wrong. I'm on the Gang of Eight. I got all the briefings. We all understood there was clearly an imminent threat, that Iran was very close to the enrichment of nuclear capability, and they were building missiles at a pace that no one in the region could keep up with. They were far outpacing our allies and friends and us in our defense capability, because we had personnel, installations, members of the armed services, and civilians in the region. Iran was building up ballistic.
Let me interject real quick. When we did attack Iran, you see what they did? They shot ballistic missiles at all of the military assets that America had in the region. This is them after we hit them. Preemptively, they could have easily done the exact same thing. They have the preparation to strike America and kill Americans at a whim. If they get to a certain point where they become so powerful that nobody in the region can contain them, that's when they begin to get dominant in the region and become dominant in the hemisphere and become a bigger problem to the United States of America. I don't understand how people can't see that. We went over there and we whooping their butt. Give Donald Trump a chance to fulfill the things he said he was going to do. We've been at war for like 3 weeks now. Afghanistan, Iraq, 20 years. And some of y'all crying about 2 weeks. I get it. Everybody has a right to criticize the government. You should criticize the government, or you stupid. But at the same time, are you going to blame every president now for something somebody else did? Donald Trump wasn't in office. Why are you still blaming him? He's clearly different than every other president that we've ever had. Let him finish.
Missiles at such a rapid pace, and we knew that their plan was to fire them upon Americans. The commander-in-chief and his administration had a very difficult decision to make. I don't know where Joe Kent is getting his information, but he wasn't in those briefings, clearly, because the Secretary of State, the Secretary of War, and everyone, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Kane, they had exquisite intelligence, and we understood that this was a serious moment for us. Had the president waited, I am personally convinced that we would have mass casualties of Americans, service members and others, and our installations would have been dramatically damaged. And so the president felt that he had to strike first to prevent those mass casualties.
You don't have to believe him. You know, like I said, I'm not in it to say that you got to believe everything the government say. You got to believe everything Mike Johnson say or Donald Trump says. You have to believe them. You don't have to believe them, but be rational and reasonable, and have your mind open to say it could be this or this. But when you say nonsensical things, there's no debating with you. To say that I don't agree with the Iranian war, that's fair. I don't want to get into another endless war. That's fair. I don't think it's in America's best interest to do this. That's fair. But when you say we're doing it because of Israel, then that's when it's like, really, you reduce this entire war and all the things that's been said by all the professionals that we trusted and we elected. You don't mention no other part of it. You don't mention any other oil. You don't mention any other the region's control of the canal, whatever they call it, not the canal, but the waterways, our leverage over China and Russia. You don't mention none of that. Like, it's not even a part of your conversation. It's just Israel. That's when it gets weird. Anyway, let's go on Fox News real quick and roll it.
Aisha Hasni reporting that on background to a senior administration official says that Joe Kent was cut out of POTUS intelligence briefings months ago due to allegations of suspected leaks and that he has not been a part of any Iran planning discussions or briefings at all, which sort of posed the disconnect addressed earlier this morning by the administration, saying that he wasn't privy to the classified information that indeed underscores and provides the evidence that Iran was nuclear empowered or about to be. And final quick point that I've referenced Joe Kent's testimony on the Hill many times in 2025 of the 18,000 known terrorists that came through the southern border under the Biden administration's watch.
All right, I want to change up our order of videos real quick because I want to get to the liberals celebrating and gloating that he quit, and some of these dumb, retarded Republicans, them gloating and being stupid as well. And then we'll get to, but first, before we get to any of that, I want to jump straight to Joe Kent's tweet. I want to jump to his tweet from 2024. And these things are just, think about it. He says, Iran has been after Trump since January of 2020 after he ordered the targeting killing of terrorist Qasem Soleimani. This isn't a new threat. The Secret Service consistently failing to secure Trump is new. We need to figure out exactly why these failures keep happening. So what do you mean that Iran has been after Donald Trump since 2020? What does that mean? Think about this for a minute. If a country is after our president, that is a threat to America. What are you saying? Now, I guess a counter argument would be because we killed Soleimani and he didn't deserve to die, I guess. Whose side are you on then? Whose side are you on? If our country decides to take a military action and kill Qasem Soleimani, which did not lead to a war, which all the cowards out there, both on the right and the left, swear to God we're going to get into a war. And I'm talking about an imminent world war. That's what they said we were going to do. All right, let's get to another clip. Joe Kent, 2024, 4/11. Now, this clip isn't necessarily a complete contradiction, but I do think it's telling of the mindset of this weirdo. And I got to give respect for him because he served the country. I give him respect there. But I feel like these people are weird to me. Listen to what he had to say.
We left our troops in these vulnerable locations, like on the Jordanian, Syrian, and Iraqi border. Our troops have been attacked, we think, at least 150 times since the October 7th incident began. And so we've seen this coming. This was an inevitable conclusion. So by leaving our troops in these locations, undefended essentially, we left them there as bait because so many people in Washington, D.C. want to go to war with Iran. There's no other logical conclusion other than the fact that we have left them there as bait to be killed by Iranians at the time and place of their choosing so that we can continue to escalate.
First of all, he's on Tucker Carlson's show. That should tell you everything you need to know because Tucker won't interview anybody unless they hate Israel. But think about what he said. He tried to frame it as if we're intentionally leaving our troops somewhere. That's like saying that some man is intentionally letting this 6-year-old wear yoga pants to bait predators into sexually assaulting them. Well, let's keep it real. Your 6-year-old can wear whatever they want unless you got predators in the area. And when I say predators in the area, they are a threat. That is a threat. Because in a normal environment, your kid can wear what they want to wear. Because the average person ain't trying to hurt them. But the existence of predators is, in my opinion, is considered a threat. That is a threat. Like, for instance, predators against children are always a threat. And they're going to attack your kids whether or not they're in a position or not. Because that's by nature of what they do, they are predators. You shouldn't have to go the rest of your life trying to hide your kids from these people who trying to attack them. That shouldn't be a mission because nobody else is trying to attack your kids but these predators. It's the same thing with American troops, American interests, and people in the Middle East. If they weren't a threat to start with, it shouldn't matter where our troops are located. It shouldn't matter about any of that because Israel or none of these other countries in the Middle East are trying to attack our troops and do any of this. None of them. Who else is doing this but Iran? And this guy knows that Iran is essentially had the capability and the desire to attack us. You claim it's bait. We should be able to put our troops anywhere, anytime without getting attacked. They are a threat. You tweeted that they want to hurt Donald Trump since 2020. All right, I want to go to Caroline Levitt, 406. It's probably way too much to read, but she said there's a lot of false claims in this. President Trump has been clear and explicitly stated that he has strong and compelling evidence that Iran was going to attack the United States first. The evidence was compiled from many sources and factors. President Trump would never make the decision to deploy military assets against a foreign adversary in a vacuum. Iran is the world's leader, state sponsor of terrorism. The Iran regime is evil. It proudly kills Americans, wages war against our country, and openly threatens us all, or threaten us all the way up to launching Operation Epic Fury. And you go down the list, Caroline Levy debunks a lot of the sentiment that was expressed in Joe Kent's statement. And I'm going to finish it with this. It's too much to read. Y'all can freeze this frame if you want to and read it for yourself. But she essentially laid out a very strong, compelling argument that what Joe Kent said was wrong. And I'm going to finish it with this because we can go down. Ben Shapiro had something to say, but I ain't got time to play everybody's clips. But I don't think it's an issue to criticize Israel. I don't think it's an issue to criticize our government. But the funny thing is, if you ever notice the people that are criticizing Israel, they're always nutty, whack job conspiracy theorists that go clean off a cliff. I think it's fair to say, what effect or what impact does AIPAC have in America as an American lobbying organization? They don't have to be registered as FARA, and they don't have to have nothing to do with Israel directly. But we want to know, do they have a negative impact in politics in America, and it is unjustified and illegal? If that's the case, everybody should be asking that question. But when you get the answer to the question, you got to be receptive to receive it and not think that everything has to be wrong because it's Israel involved or it's related to Israel. It has to be something nefarious. When AIPAC is not even our biggest lobbying organization in America, not even close. They don't even scratch the surface of lobbying. But yet, what do people do? They just make it about Israel. It's bizarre to me. It's okay to question our government. Nobody wants to be in a never-ending war. I know people that serve in the military. My personal security served in the military. Nobody wanted us to be over there for no reason. I don't want no young people dying for no reason. But they can't just question that and say, I want Donald Trump to make the commitment to not put us in a war. Do you stupid mother freakers think that we never go to war again? We never do anything? You never again? That's the problem with the logic. You're saying we never do it again. We never go into a war. We never fight for our country. We never do anything because it's going to lead to a war. That's stupid. We never help our allies. We have no involvement with nobody in America or outside of America. That is stupid. You cannot be a functioning grown adult and think we shouldn't be involved in anything outside of America. Because you know who want to be involved in stuff outside of America? China. And you're going to be eating out of their hand if we sit on our hands and do nothing because you are too much of a wuss and think we should never go to war or do anything for anybody because fool, we should fix what's going on in this country. Nick Shirley exposed more fraud money than we give to Israel. All of our foreign aid, More fraud in Minnesota than all of our foreign aid. So foreign aid ain't really the problem. You have to make investments in regions outside of America so that our interests can be stabilized. Trade can be stabilized. The dollar can be stabilized. You can't be, isolationism is stupid. There's no major country that believes in isolationism. None. China is not isolated, don't believe in isolationism. They taking over places in Africa. They got all kind of allies. Iran is their ally. They're not functioning in a vacuum by themselves. No country is doing that. But some of you idiots, and I'm not talking about nobody watching me because the idiots have unsubscribed. But some of you idiots think, no, we should just focus on the interests of America. Well, what happens when China begins to encroach in South America and they start controlling oil? They start making their way up to our southern border. They start making their way into Mexico. They start making their waves into Canada. They start putting military assets on our coast. What's going to happen then? What's going to happen when the Muslim terrorists have a stronghold in the Middle East? What you think they're going to do? What do you cowards think that, y'all that made me mad today. What do you cowards think they're going to do? Islam isn't at least these Muslim terrorists, they are literally trying to colonize. Are you stupid? You think they're satisfied with just being in the Middle East? Why do you think their immigrants come to America? Why do you think they're over here right now throwing bombs and killing people, talking about Allah Akbar? They want America too. So we let them get a stronghold in Israel, take over Israel, take over all the Christian holy sites, and you think they're going to just stay over there? They already over here. They got the mayor of New York on the carpet in Indian style, worshiping the devil. It just bothers me that people are that stupid. We should manage our involvement outside of the country with due diligence, but we have to pursue interests outside of America. I think people want us to get conquered, want us to be economically poor. They don't want us to have any leverage. They're not going to be satisfied that China is running everything. China is buying property in America. All of our pharmaceutical products, everything in your house is made in China. Y'all are okay with us completely ruining our country and being controlled. It's so stupid. And people think Israel is our biggest enemy. No, Islamic terrorists are our biggest enemy. Really, who control America more? Israel or China? I would argue China. If we just stop partnering with Israel, our country don't cease to exist. Our leverage in the Middle East begins to be corrupted, and we can lose leverage there, but we don't cease to exist if we just cut Israel off. We don't give them no more money for military, and we cut them off. Nothing happens to America. Maybe we won't get some innovative stuff, maybe some intel. We cut China off, and what happens to America? Let's say we won't take no more product from Israel. I don't know if I don't know if we won't be able to recover from that. Say we won't take no products from China. If China says we're going to cut off America and we're not going to send, they can't do it because economically they'll crash. But if they say we're not going to send anything else to America, we're going to make a hard cut, the country will fall apart and we will fail. Everything that you look at, everything you see, you touch is made in China. There's industries that don't even exist in America no more because it's outsourced to China. And you're telling me they're not a bigger threat than Israel? That's the size of one state in a 50-state union. We go to war with Israel, it'll last 30 seconds. We go to war with China, that'd be the end of the world. But yet people spend most of their time, effort, and energy talking about Israel. It's crazy to me. So I'm running out of time. I love you guys. We got to get the post-show clarity. Maybe I'll take a deep breath after that. I'll see y'all on the other side.